Some say that 1994 was the last good year. The music, the movies, the cultural revolution. It was a time when monoculture thrived, and we shared moments collectively. But for 𝗙𝗏 𝗀, it was her last year. Period. This is Echoes of 94, where a cold case is heating up and the past refuses to stay buried.
All right, so get this. We're diving deep into 1994 Los Angeles.
Okay.
But not your average history lesson. No, we're trying to crack the case.
How up?
The unsolved murder of 𝗙𝗏 𝗀.
Really?
Music journalist.
Wow.
And you've handed us like a mountain of evidence. I mean, notes, clippings, even some of Sarah's own writing. It's like piecing together a puzzle, but the pieces are grunge music, political firestorms, and a literal earthquake.
Wow.
Los Angeles, 1994.
What's so fascinating about this case is that 𝗙𝗏 𝗀 wasn't just like reporting on bands,
Right.
She was documenting a whole cultural shift, a world that was on the edge of massive change.
And 1994, I mean, that year was a powder keg, wasn't
That
it?
really was, yeah.
You've got grunge exploding, the O.J. Simpson trial gripping the nation, and California wrestling with Prop 187. I mean, talk about an earthquake of a different kind.
Oh, yeah.
And 𝗙𝗏, right there in the thick of it all.
She had her finger on the pulse. That's in fact, her last interview was with Kurt Cobain just weeks before his death.
Oh, wow.
Talk about a sign of the times.
To think 𝗙𝗏 was there, notebook in hand, sitting with Kurt Cobain just weeks before.
I know, it's incredible.
It gives me chills just thinking about it, like she was tuned into something.
Yeah.
Something big.
Yeah.
Something that maybe someone didn't want her to reveal.
Exactly, and that's why understanding 𝗙𝗏 the music, she covered her thoughts on the internet, which was barely even a thing back then, and even her clashes with some pretty powerful figures. It's all vital to untangling why someone wanted her silenced.
Okay, so let's talk about those clashes then.
Yeah.
We've got 4 suspects, each a major player in their own world.
Okay.
First up, we've got the boyfriend, Jason Keller, struggling musician.
Right, classic motive right there.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
It seems that way on the surface, at least. 𝗙𝗏's career was taking off,
yeah.
while his band Toxic Waste was
Well, floundering a bit.
Toxic Waste.
Yeah. And then after her death, their luck changes.
Wait, hold on. You're saying that his band just happens to make it big after 𝗙𝗏 dies?
Yeah.
Come on. I mean, how?
That's the question, isn't it?
It's awfully convenient.
He claims that he was at a Soundgarden concert the night 𝗙𝗏 died.
But we need to look at the timeline of his band's success.
Yeah.
Did they get signed to a new label?
Okay.
Were their gigs suddenly packed?
Right.
We need specifics.
So we have Jason, whose dreams of, making it big are totally overshadowed by 𝗙𝗏's rising career.
Right.
And then she dies.
Yeah.
Is this a reflection of just how cutthroat the 90s music scene was?
It's possible.
Or did he see her death as his ticket to the top?
It's dark, but we have to consider it.
It's dark,
Yeah.
but we have to consider it.
Let's move on to our next suspect, Marcus Turner,
Okay.
a film executive who was all about better representation in movies.
Okay.
A noble cause.
Yeah.
Except he and 𝗙𝗏 had this very public blow-up about how she portrayed race in the music scene.
And knowing 𝗙𝗏, she wasn't one to shy away from tough topics.
No, not at all.
This was 1994, a time of these really heated debates about who gets to tell certain stories,
Absolutely.
especially when it comes to race.
Yeah, and it wasn't just a difference of opinion. According to witnesses, their argument just weeks before her death was explosive.
Wow.
So the question is, did their professional disagreements turn deadly?
Wow. It's interesting, right? We've got Marcus on the one hand fighting for better representation in film.
Right.
And then on the other, you've got Alina Rodriguez, an activist heavily involved in protesting Prop 187.
Yeah, and both of those movements were really intertwined with the music scene that 𝗙𝗏 was covering.
Right.
Elena saw Prop 187 as this direct attack on her community.
Of course.
And 𝗙𝗏 was reporting on how this law was impacting musicians, many of whom were immigrants themselves.
Right.
And they definitely had different views on how that issue should be portrayed.
So another potential clash of ideologies.
Absolutely.
Did 𝗙𝗏's reporting hit a nerve, maybe threaten something Elena was working on?
It's possible. Remember, this was a time of just immense social and political tension in California.
Yeah.
Prop 187 was incredibly divisive.
For sure.
People on both sides of the issue felt very, very strongly about it.
And Sarah, with her platform in Rolling Stone and the LA Times, I mean, she could really sway people's opinions.
Oh, absolutely.
If she was digging into this movement, maybe someone felt like she was a liability.
Exactly. We need to look at Alina's actions, her network.
Right.
Was Sarah's reporting perceived as an actual threat, or was it just like a professional disagreement?
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, because activism and passion,
right,
that's one thing. But we're talking about murder here.
Exactly.
Which brings us to our final suspect.
Okay.
And this one's a bit of a curveball.
Okay.
A seismologist.
Dr. James Norton.
Okay.
He became a bit of a celebrity after the Northridge earthquake, or at least that's how he tells it.
Well, I mean, if you predicted that earthquake, you'd
Right.
be a celebrity.
You would be, yeah.
But Sarah was investigating him.
She was.
What could a music journalist possibly find suspicious about a scientist?
Right.
Especially one who, just predicted a major earthquake.
Yeah, that's the million-dollar question.
Right.
She was looking into rumors that he knew more about the quake than he let on.
Okay, hold on. Now that's interesting. So
Right.
she was going to blow the whistle on some kind of cover-up?
We have to consider that possibility.
No.
Did Sarah stumble onto something big?
Something career-ending for Dr. Norton.
Right.
Something that he would protect at any cost.
And the earthquake itself?
Yeah.
I mean, talk about the perfect cover.
Right.
The chaos, the destruction.
Exactly.
It's almost too perfect.
Precisely. So we have 4 suspects, each tied to a different thread in Sarah's life.
Okay.
We have the ambitious musician,
Right.
the film executive pushing for change,
Yeah.
the activist fighting for her community,
Right.
and the scientist with something to hide,
Right.
each of them embodying a piece of 1994.
And Sarah, with her finger on the pulse of it all,
Yeah,
she might have been the key to exposing them all.
she might have been.
But where do we even begin to untangle this?
This isn't just about solving a murder. It's about understanding a moment in time, a world on the brink.
Yeah.
A world that Sarah Chen was trying to make sense of.
Absolutely. And somewhere in that story,
Right.
buried beneath ambition, activism, scientific pursuit, somewhere in there is the truth about what happened to Sarah.
This has been a heavy one.
It has.
It makes you think about all the stories that haven't been told.
This was Echoes of 94. If you enjoyed this episode, please rate and review us on your podcast app of choice. Your support helps us continue our investigation and keep Sarah's story alive. Remember, the past is never truly buried. Sometimes all it takes is someone willing to listen to its echoes.
The city's in ruins, and I'm caught in the flames. Feel smoking dreams, can't stick this pain. Right into the shadows, it's chasing fading lights. It's trying to find a reason in this endless fight. Lost inside the madness, in this cage of rage. Right into the shadows, breaking off the change. Streets echo empty, while the darkness calls. Hope wearing thin, but I still push on. Running through the shadows, searching for the truth.